here talking with one of the most interesting people we have known for years, Mr. Cerrato from Montblanc. We have
Hi, Carlo.
grow. We have watched
hello to everyone.
And we've seen all the cool stuff that he has shown us. Welcome. How are you doing and where are you?
I'm doing very good, and today I'm in Geneva, as you can see, home.
Yeah, so am I. So am I.
You can see.
So one thing. When you showed us on screen the new watches from Montblanc, the one that I actually really liked the most was that 24-hour regulator, which was flipped over completely. I think that was brilliant. How did you end up figuring out how to do that?
Yes, that watch for us also it's an important one because it shows how much you can do with design at a very affordable price point. As always, in terms of creative development, what we do is that we start from a narrative, and here for 1858, the narrative is really exploration, adventure, outdoor, and we always try to do inside 1858 the products that. By function or by display or by case or accessories or colors match with this environment and tell different stories. And we had already done 2 years ago inside 1858 in the high-end part, in the Minerva part, a very interesting exploration pocket watch with a hunter cap on the back, with a compass, with a 24-hour display, and so on, and we wanted to kind of bring this down to a more affordable price point to, as we say, democratize this approach. And in that watch, in that pocket watch, we already use this very nice display, which is a single big arrow that gives you hour and minutes, which is a very interesting way of both displaying the time and both showing the flow of time, because very clearly with such a hand it does one spin during the day, so it goes twice slower than a normal watch we're used to see, and this is very much linked to your time frame when you're out in nature. It is from sunrise to sunset. You don't have to divide it into slots of 12 because it's when you are in the office and so on. So first, it's already a kind of a unique, different, and slower way of displaying the time. And then we look at how these 24 hours was displayed, and I don't know why exactly, but there are already very few, and the very few were all with the 24 at 12. So with midnight at 12, and so with the night in the upper part of your dial, while in reality you are more, as Europeans, we are used to read from left to right, and you are used to look at the upper part of the dial, to look at the somewhere central part of your time frame. So we decided to flip it, to put the 24 at 6 and the 12 at 12 at midday. And indeed, it works really, really better. And also you can use as a compass if you want, if you have sun, looking at the sun, and also compared to that, it's easier to read than the other way around. So
yes, it was so much fun when I saw it. It just amazed me that no one ever thought of it before. It makes it so much more balanced.
Exactly. And also we use something very interesting. As always, we try to bring a lot of details in what we do, and we put the Northern Hemisphere map on the watch using this mysterious superluminova. So the map looks gray during the day, and at night glows completely in the dark, together with the time frame and the end. And that is a small detail, but at the end, if you look for 3,000 euros, you have a crazy watch. You have a unique display. You have this amazing glowing in the night. You have a beautiful NATO strap, the one that we do in central France, in this crazy company that does has weaving machine of the 18th century, and all of those are done with those very, very old weaving machine, and with this beautiful ancient technique, weaving technique of jacquard, with an incredible quality. So it really shows that you can deliver a lot of quality and emotion and pleasure in a quite simple watch. And also The case is in titanium and bronze, something that we already did in the past, which again is very nice because it has, when the watch is new, it has the look of a steel and gold watch, and when the times goes by, it gets this patina and gets even a more rugged look, which really matches with the spirit of 1858.
Yeah, you know, one thing we've seen with Montblanc over the years is that you kind of have these two worlds, and you're very good at both of them. One is you have some of the most beautiful movements, and they're complicated, but they're also very clean, and they're just gorgeous. And on the other hand, you have these watches like this watch or like the world time watches or whatever, and they're just very nice at very good price points. How are you able, I mean, are the processes the same for both of these lines, or are they different? How do you get them both?
Yes, thank you very much for this point, because it's a crucial point for Montblanc, and to understand what we are doing and what we have been doing in the last 5 years. What we have done is that, especially since I joined, we accelerated this. We work on the integration between Minerva and Montblanc. And Minerva is this beautiful Swiss watchmaking brand with incredible high-end movement, but also with a long history of end of the the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century of sport watches, and in particular of chronographs, that were acquired by the Richemont Group in 2006. And since then, and especially in the last 5 years, we are really work to merge, to find a way of perfectly merge the world of Montblanc and the world of Minerva. So we have now two manufacturers, one in Le Locle, which is the, let's say, the industrial one, the more industrial one, and one in Villeret, which is the original Minerva premises, and that's where we do all our high-end watches. And the merging has taken place in a complete redesign of our product collection, completely taking inspiration for each one of the new product line from specific watches from the history of Minerva, in such a way that really, those two new 1858, like the blue Geosphere, are the new version of those Minerva ones. So we have really recreated this continuity, and this allows us to have really solid watchmaking roots, which we could not have just being, a global luxury brand. Inside each one of the product line, if we take, for example, 1858, we have a build up in terms of movement, the offer, exactly in the same way, using 3 different layers. So a first layer to create very affordable price points in watches like the one that you mentioned, the 24-hour, where we use existing industry standard movement that are present on the market, mainly Sellita, some Dubois de Pramodus, and so on. And this is up to, let's say, 5,000 euros to simplify. Then 5 to 25, we have built up a new segment, which we did not have, and we call manufacture, where we develop our own, we conceive and we develop our own movement. A good example, once again, is the Geosphere, that are produced inside the group just for Montblanc, and with an industrial approach to sell thousands of watches and not tens of watches. And then a good example is the Geosphere, but also the Nicolas Riosset chronograph on pusher is the same, also the perpetual calendar inside Heritage, and so on. And then above 25,000 is where it's the world of Minerva. So we do all those high-end pieces in Villeret, completely by hand, assembled, decorated. Everything is done by hand. Even the hairspring is done in-house. Limited and numbered edition, maximum 100 pieces. And the good example, if we look at 1858, you have an automatic model, you have a chronograph automatic, you have the 24-hour. These are the first layer. The second layer is the Geosphere, and somewhere the affordable chronograph monopusher that we presented this year. And then the third level is the monopusher split second, or the previous monopushers. So in this way, we really get the best of the two worlds somewhere. And you have, hence, you have Minerva movement in each one of the line. You have the pulsograph in Heritage, and the one that just presented in gold with the burnt caramel dial. You have the split second monopusher inside 1858. You have Exotourbillon, suspended Exotourbillon in Star Legacy, and you have complicated watches in Time Walker like the B frequency 1,000 of a second chronograph monopusher. So
thank you for explaining all that. When you started with Montblanc, I wanted to ask you, what are the fun stories you can tell us that exemplify what you've learned at Montblanc, what you found? Are there any challenges in particular that you had, that you faced?
Yes, let's start from the most difficult part, the challenges for sure. The fact that Montblanc is by birth a writing instrument brand that has then expanded into other categories and that has become today a worldwide luxury brand where all these different categories live together. This for us, for watches, it's a big challenge because we have all supporting evidence that we are doing watches exactly as if we were only doing watches, you know, two manufacturers in Switzerland, 150 people, specialists based there, same level of quality than any other watch player and so on, and same level of strength of design and roots into watchmaking because Minerva is 162 years old, so there's a long and rich history. But because it's part of a brand that is known also for other categories, you know, it takes more time, it's longer to let people understand what we are exactly doing. So that's the really, for us, it's, I would say, the everyday challenge. We are improving more and more. I'm happy that you have understood very well what you are doing, and we need your help, to let people know, because it always takes a lot of time for the customer out there to realize when a brand is changing so much. Yeah, but still it's a long way. So that's our everyday challenge. And then it's a fantastic adventure because the first week I visited Villeret and the Minerva premises and our patrimony. I mean, it's I could have stayed there. You know, they had to call the police to evacuate me from the premises at the end of the day because I could have stayed there days or months. And it's a beautiful, it's really like, a gold mine. There is a small part of the patrimony which is not completely organized and structured, and I love to spend there as soon as I have I try almost every week to be there at least 1 hour to dig like an archaeologist into those boxes. And every time I go, I found a new dial, a new lettering, a scale, a very special color, a case, a detail. It's never ending. It's beautiful. And the fact that, all of this is really inhabiting everything that we are doing today in Montblanc is something very powerful. And I'm very happy that more and more watch lovers and enthusiasts out there are getting what we are doing and are starting, to wave their hands and to support what we are doing. I think the direction is really good and really interesting. I must say that it takes time. Now we're going through this process since 5 years. So now people start to realize, because you have the overall structure and architecture of this shift, but at the beginning you just have one line or few products and your vision. It's very difficult to let people know and understand. But now I think it starts to be very clear, and it's a unique operation of integration. I really, there have been trials in the past to put together different brands, but ended in weird objects that were not from one brand or the other, or with the two brands at the same time on the dial, or where you were seeing the artificiality of the operation. You just really you feel that they are trying to stick one thing on the other, but it doesn't match. And here what we have done is really telling the story of Minerva in this way, preserving, leveraging this beautiful, vision of timekeeping and chronography, and then, putting up front the chronograph monopusher, which is a beautiful complication, and making live with a modern language and modern codes. I think it's really like, giving a second birth, a second spin, a second life to this story, to this watchmaking story.
Yeah, I remember. It is completely true. We met with Mr. Cerrato when he first got involved. We had known him before, and he pulled us aside and he said, "I'm so amazed at how beautiful these watches can be now. It's great." So it's completely true. He you could see it in his eyes that he was so happy to see the level at which he was now able to play with these watches and see the beauty behind them. So it's great. What's your normal day like anyway? What do you do on a regular basis?
I wake up quite early at 6 in the morning. I live in Geneva, so I start from Geneva. I have a 1 hour 45 drive to go up to Le Locle into the mountain. Then when I go there, I have a coffee with my team. Important for an Italian, the first shot of adrenaline in the morning, and then we work a lot with our marketing and development and product development team and designers. We have all our designers in Le Locle inside the company. We do everything in house. I make a tour of the manufacturer to seeing our atelier and the people that are assembling and testing our watches. I try to go out for a quick lunch to especially in summer to enjoy the beauty of the place. Le Locle is in the mountain, 1,100-meter high, so really into the wild. And then I work normally in the afternoon quite a lot in contact with our affiliate, with our headquarters in Hamburg, and our affiliate around the world. And always trying, as we are doing today, to exchange with our partner, with our friends, with journalists, with the clients, to both continue to build up the story and both also stay in contact with what happens out there. Really having the feeling of what people like and dislike, of what's going on. Very, very important to remaining deeply rooted into what's going on out there. Despite the difficult times we live now, it's a little bit more complicated.
Of the batch of watches that you have recently released, what have you found that has gotten the most attention and has been the most appreciated?
But I must say that it's quite a pleasure because very often, when you present all the novelties and then you put them on the table and you ask the person that you have in front of you to choose one, he or she is always struggling, and at the end the pickup is at least 2 or 3 pieces, which is the sign that you're going in the good direction. For which concerns me very clearly, 1858 has become the seminal line of Montblanc, the new face of Montblanc watchmaking, very strong, very powerful. The fact of having associated the line with the territory of exploration and of outdoor is very powerful. There's almost no other watch brand out there. We are called Montblanc. We are very legitimate to be in there. The team itself, it's very relevant, especially for the newer generation. And I think after this COVID era, it will be even more important and more powerful. The relationship with nature, freedom, being out there, and so on. And the geosphere, to me, it's really a big product. A big winner is. To be fair with you, you design a lot of watches. We design basically 40 to 50 new watches every year, but a product like that really stands out, becomes unique, is recognized immediately by people, drives, traffic to the boutiques of people saying, I saw this, where do you have, can I see? This is, if you are good and lucky, perhaps once each 10 years or something like that. So that is really the watch that has put Montblanc watches on the radar of watch lovers and collectors. I think it's really, it's unique in terms of look, unique in terms of movement. It's an incredible way of simplifying a very nice complication, the world timer, that has always had a very complicated way of expression, and at the end you were losing the reading of time, which was a little bit of an issue for if you want to wear the watch every day. And this brings this with vintage feeling, with these adventures, outdoorish feeling, the bronze oxidation, the straps that we use. I think that is a very, very strong watch. And then in the high end, for sure, all our chronograph monopusher with Minerva movement, and in particular the split second that we are presenting now with the enamel grand feu dial. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful watch and movement for collectors and for real connoisseurs.
Okay, so if let's say if you were traveling, what 2 or 3 watches would you bring with you?
The Geosphere, definitely. Now we have just refreshed in a very powerful design the Orbis Terrarum inside the Star Legacy, which is the other world timer, the more classical world timer with a map in the middle and with the 24 cities around. But we have created a very specific movement and dial where you have not only the time zones but also the shifting of the night and day line on the map, which is very interesting. Definitely the 24-hour you spoke about, or the 24-hour pocket watch. We have really a number of watches that are really suiting perfectly the travel situation.
But what would you wear? What would you wear if you knew you were going to, let's say, a formal occasion or someone? Those the 2 watches you mentioned are everyday watches.
The Orbis Terrarum, it's perfect.
That's true. Yeah.
In Star Legacy, we have a full calendar, which is very classical and really beautiful. Or we have just presented inside Star Legacy some 43 millimeter new chronograph. There is one which is anthracite gray and black. That also is a very beautiful, formal sport chic watch. And heritage. The heritage product are just sweet and beautiful, very vintage with this feeling from the 40s. The chronograph monopusher in the heritage collection, the affordable one with the pink salmon dial that we just presented. It's really a hit. The vintage British green automatic in yellow gold. It's fantastic, perfect. A formal occasion watch. Yeah, we really have a number. And the Pulsograph, it's a magnificent watch. Really, really very elegant watch.
Okay. Is there anything? Are there any particular insider stories to Montblanc that you would like to share with us? Something that makes you smile or laugh. Something that tells the story of the.
Sure, but makes me smile. I must say that so many things, and every time that I go in Villeret, I cannot take off the smile from my face. And every time that we design a new watch or we come with a new concept, are really exciting and powerful moment. Yeah, I think that something special was this discovery inside our archives of this a small box with this 40 beautiful movement from 2006, this pre-Richemont hour and minute small second movement, basically a kind of more classical rework of the Pythagore, the famous Pythagore from 1948 from Minerva, in pristine condition. And I found those in one of my, archaeologist diving, and we were speaking since really a while also with all the visitors that come in Villeret, collectors, journalists, and so on, about what to do with this. We have hundreds of original enamel grand feu dial in pristine condition, and everyone that was coming was saying, wow, why not putting one of those in some new watches so that you really blend. You not only take inspiration from a watch of the past, but we really put inside a new watch a piece coming from the past. And very clearly, as soon as we found those movement and we checked that they were still in good condition to be used again, that it was the click, that was where, okay, that was exactly what we were looking for, to start to push a little bit the boundaries of this connection between past and present. And we did this very beautiful, Elite 38 series of inside heritage small second with this mysterious signature of Minerva on the dial that collectors were asking for a while. Really beautiful finishing, adding superluminova in the numerals and in the indexes by dots. And that's a very nice example of what you can do once you master the language of a brand. You master the code of a brand, then something comes up and immediately you see how it can contribute to the overall building of the brand.
So basically you have fun becoming an archaeologist for watchmaking.
Yes, why not? Why not? It's some of your colleagues already tell that I am one of them. I like very much to spend time in the archives, for sure. It's a crucial piece, as much as going to watch auctions and meet them, see what happens there. I think those are the two sides of watchmaking that are perhaps sometimes forgotten by brands and are absolutely crucial to be able to stay into what goes on and to stay relevant for customers.
And what can we look forward to from you and Montblanc in the coming years that you can tell us about?
A lot of things. We are already working on 22-23 now. So, and we have a very, very powerful program for next year. As you can imagine, we have moved something from this year to the next one to avoid, launching unuseful products or creating unuseful stocks, trying to be very fair and very attentive to that, and not to, to overweight a market which is already struggling. And we have a very nice program next year, and we have even a nicer one in 22-23 with something very, very strong and powerful in the world of adventure.
Okay, that's interesting. That sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Carlo.
Always
a pleasure
speaking with you.
The same. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ciao. Stay safe. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.